and one N block
Okay.
that you can magnetize and get
Okay,
different results.
I guess we're the ones who have to count him. So do you want to count him down so he gets started?
Yeah, sure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright. Yeah. So the first stage is called Castle Goofstein. Oh, it's not started yet, I think. Oh, he wants us to
5, 4,
count.
3, 2, 1, go. I am.
Bloopers, guys, bloopers. You could clip it for the best moments.
Yeah, now I am is going here.
Okay, so a couple things you'll see in here are items. So this first block, the Mickey head, you can pick up and actually stand on it. So we'll use that as a stepping stone. He's actually attacking with, it's not apples, it's soap, because he's a laundry guy. So that's all he knows. So he kills stuff with soap. If you see him pick up orange Mickey, they're an extra life, or an extra HP, pardon me, as well as a donut. And also see cakes, which replenish his life in full. The white Mickey face is an extra life, and you'll see some, you probably won't see them, but there's like little jewelry you can pick up, which are purely only points. And I'm not even done talking about the items, and the stage is done. So you want to talk about Duckingham Palace a little bit, Jekyll? The forest, sorry.
Yeah, well, from what I have seen from this stage, it's basically just to a bit of a puzzle stage where you need to pull some blocks and get through it. And
these bees are really annoying. You have to deal with them, otherwise they will lunge at you if you go too close. So you might have seen the item box at the bottom. If he has extra HP and he picks up HP items, they keep them in reserve. I'm not 100% sure what happens with the reserve, but I believe when he takes damage, it will consume the items if he has them.
so I'm actually going to turn up the audio on my computer because I really haven't listened to the music yet.
Yeah, it seems pretty in sync with other illusion games. Like a cool game. Alright, he's already done this. Now it's Duckingham Palace. So in Duckingham Palace, we introduced the S block and the N block, or the south and north blocks. They are stepping stones, but sometimes you need to bring the opposite block to it to bring it out of the screen, basically, so you can step on it. So we'll see that you can climb on the ropes and rooftops here.
You did try to play this game, right?
I did, yeah. I played it on the Fusion emulator last night because I at least wanted to know what I was going to get into. But the game controls pretty well. Like if you want to learn speedrunning, or you're not sure if you want to, this is an incredible game to start with. It's really fast to learn. There's not too much mechanics to it. It's definitely not overwhelming. See, the stage is already done. So we got the first boss. Do you want to talk about the first boss, Jake?
Yeah, the first boss is the evil shadow, and he will appear from different spots based on when the lights goes on, and he's dead.
Yeah, King Goofy is saved. So I believe this is a mandatory cutscene to talk to the Sphinx, but he just skips it. Next level is the sunken ruins. So you'll have some tornadoes. You'll have some water sections.
Yeah, and there's different routes you can take to finish this stage as well, right?
Yes, correct. But I am, being the awesome player that he is, probably has his preferred route, which is the top. He doesn't want to go in the water if he doesn't have to. So these switches basically change the green blocks to be passable or not. You'll see it a couple more times in the run. So here's the first mandatory water section. So there's some eels that can hurt you. It's actually pretty annoying. The water physics are not great. And when you jump out of the water, if you hold forward too much, you will jump really far and get hit by those spikes. That's the extra life the Mickey had. Safety is good. So I believe this is the last room of the stage. You'll take the top route again to avoid the water as much as possible.
Yeah, I think it's the fastest path possible. Because taking the water path really takes a lot of time compared to taking the top path here.
For sure. The next stage is called Rainbow Wastelands. It's a pretty cool stage. Basically, it's an auto-scroller, but the floor keeps changing terrain. So based on which terrain that he's walking on, it's going to be either cacti coming out. You're going to see sharks when it's water. There's falling crystals. There's the shark. There's some cow skulls as well. And there's also some flame sparks. But overall, they're pretty avoidable, and it seems to be the same loop. Like, you'll see the same pattern over and over, so it's easy for Infinite Mystery to predict what's going to happen.
So I just noticed that one enemy got turned into a bubble.
Yeah,
Is
Sorry,
that something that's possible with most enemies, or is it just these fire enemies?
Some enemies can be turned into bubbles, some don't, but when they are turned into bubble, it becomes a stepping stone that you can use. So this is the Rainbow Caterpillar boss. Basically what you want to do is when he lunges forward with his head and puffs his cheeks up, you want to throw some soap in his mouth, and that will stun him. And it will turn his body white, and then he can knock off one of his pieces. He didn't quite get it yet, but... And also, he changes color based on the terrain, and the attacks he will do will match the terrain just like it did in the stage. So there's one part gone, so he has to do that 4 times.
Yeah, so this seems to be the first boss that actually takes some time to beat.
Yeah, it's definitely time consuming, especially you don't have that much of a window when he puffs his cheeks to hit him. So if you miss it, then you have to wait till he goes underground again, which I think it would be a run killer if you miss one in like a world record attempt for sure. So this boss actually gives you the gold key. You need 2 keys to actually go to the last stage. So this is the Crystal Forest. It's got some weird doors here. They're more like teleporters, I guess. You've got these weird caterpillar enemies. I'm guessing there's some kind of cave snail. This new white enemy, you can actually stun him by shooting him and use him as a stepping stone. So this is actually mandatory here. And we haven't talked about this, but it's really, really annoying. When you hit a stream transition, it does like a mini loading. But if you fall, it loads again. Like if you're trying to climb, it's going to constantly do that. It can be a bit tedious to get used to.
Yeah, that's really only the bad thing about this game is that it doesn't have any scrolling.
I believe it was adapted to play on Pocket System as well, so that might have to do with it, because I think you can play it on Game Gear. So there's some crystals shedding light here, and you can use the prisms to direct the light to make steps appear. these red rocks are in the way, so you actually have to take them out to make your path. This enemy's pretty finicky. You have to really juke him, for lack of a better term. You have to manip him to do what you want, but I think taking the deep boost was the smart idea there.
Yeah, that part really seemed like something annoying.
I don't know how they managed to get water sections there. It's like they have these little water containers magically standing, but
well, the game is called the Land of Illusion, so
yeah, it could just be an illusion. You're right. What am I thinking? So this part is really weird. He has to kill these 4 blocks, but he just endlessly teleports in these magic mirrors of some kind. So there's an orange extra HP. This is the worst screen of the game, in my opinion. Like, you're trying to vertically ascend, but it constantly shifts your screen. Oh, looks like you found a skip, so that makes it much easier than what I did. Do you want to talk a little bit about the boss that we're gonna see? It'll be arriving very shortly.
yeah, the boss he will be fighting next is the lion head. He literally sends a roar towards you, and he will teleport around, and he will eventually come down so you can damage him.
Right. And when we said literally, we literally mean the 4 letters of roar, as you see.
Yeah.
So this boss, you don't want to miss a cycle. I think it's like 15 seconds in between each cycle. It's pretty intense for a speedrun if you miss a cycle. I think he hasn't missed one yet, so that's good. So this boss also gives us this silver key, which will allow us to go to the next stage, now that he has both.
So do you know how many hits this boss takes?
I believe he takes 4 hits, like every boss takes either 4 or 6, like it's not that bad. Maybe it's a bit more, I think that was the 4th hit actually. I think it's 6 at this point, because he's done 5, I think. He still has lots of health. The game is very permissive in terms of health, and I suppose if you learn the speed strats, maybe it's a bit harder, but for a marathon, this is pretty good. Here we go, we got the silver key. So now we can enter the Gardens of Illusion, which is where the Tree of Life is supposed to be located, where the Water of Life is supposed to be located. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay, well, I will then.
Yeah.
There's a various bunch of enemies here. It's very much like a forest. There's spiders that you kill, and they allow you to jump on a stone. There's some leaves to jump on, some birds. Various insects. There's some crabs, which I guess they're earth crabs. But there's nothing too much to this stage. At this point, you've pretty much seen all the mechanics. We do see the Mickey stepping block here for the first time in a while. Oh, he does use these mushrooms to jump higher, like a spring. Oh, he's having a little bit of trouble here. I'm sure he'll recover. Here we go. So here he's gonna step on this flower, which produces notes, and he's going to jump on the last one, which will allow him to float up.
And we get to see the awesome scrolling twice.
So here it looks like you can jump up there, and he actually got caught. The stage is actually done, but you have to walk a certain spark to finish the stage. I think he forgot what it is. Yeah, he just had to walk like on that tree trunk to be able to finish the stage. I think he remembers now. We'll see. Yeah, the game is really finicky as to where you step to finish the stage, unfortunately. It's not like a vertical.
Oh, and he dropped down again. Yeah, that seems like a real dick move to just have a specific point you gotta stand on.
Yeah, and it's not like it's like completely evident. Like it really looks like you can take a stepping stone and jump over that wall. There he goes. He finally clicks and it's like, oh yeah. Alright, so now we get access to the Tree of Life. So it's an auto-scroller. You're stepping on a dragonfly. You can kill these stars, but he doesn't have to. You might kill a few of them, so he doesn't have to move as much. You can also swoop down, but you gotta be careful because there's some trees in the way, so you have to watch where you're flying. But overall, it's nothing too difficult.
Yeah, I really enjoy how they created this auto-scroller part, because it's kind of different from the rest of the game.
For sure, yeah. It actually looks a bit more fun, but he doesn't seem to have too many things going on at once, so that's good. Do you want to talk a bit about the Sorcerer of Darkness, the boss?
I haven't actually watched this part of the video, so you're more than welcome to.
Okay, so yeah, so the Sorcerer actually floats above you, and he will do one of three attacks, either fire, lightning, or he'll throw down a green spike ball. And he is invulnerable during that period, so you can only hit him when his magical shield around him expires, and he swoops down. So I believe he takes 6 hits to kill. 6 to 8.
So, do you know what kind of attack you want for speed running purpose?
They all seem to be about the same speed. I'm not sure about the green ball though. But no, I don't know which one in terms of frames is faster. They all seem relatively easy to dodge. The spike could be a bit annoying because it stays there for a while. So here's the next boss, the Red Dragon. So much like King Hippo, you can only hurt him when he opens his mouth and you throw soap in it. And what that will cause is for the boss to breathe fire and into a form of a bubble, so you can step on his head and he'll throw his spike at you or at his head. This boss fight is actually pretty long because the cycles are really long, and I think he takes between 10 to 12 hits on top of that, so it's a pretty long fight. You gotta make sure you watch the green spike too, because he can fling it with his tail at any moment. There we go.
He seemed to have had some problems getting the right distance at the beginning.
Yeah, and we also have to point out that he doesn't open his mouth, so you have to almost know it's coming. He also flaps his wing on the back when he throws the spike, so you can use that as a visual cue as to when to dodge. When he flies, you can just duck, so to avoid damage.
I'm really wondering if that dragon could fly, because the wings are so small.
Well, the Dragonite can do it. I'm sure this cool red dragon can do it.
So do we need to jump up on the head, or does he do that for swag just?
You have to, yes. So the way you damage him is the green spike needs to hit his head, and he aims it at you. So by being on his head, he's like making a stupid move and throwing the spike at you, and it will hit his head at the same time. But you have a bit of room to dodge the spike before it hits you. You just gotta watch his wings on the back when he flaps them. Right there. So as I was saying, this fight is really, really long. Must be like 10 seconds to 15 seconds minimum each cycle, and there's probably like 3 minutes of the speedrun here alone. He's running low on HP, but I think he's got a hang of the fight now that he should be fine. Definitely don't want to die here.
Yeah, I just noticed that the dragon actually looks up at Mickey while he is standing on the head.
There's some cool little things. So this is the last stage called Falls of Fortune. It's actually more so a gem collecting stage. If you actually collect all the gems in the stage, you get the good ending of the game, but I believe it is longer, so we're not going to see that. So all that Infinite Mystery will be doing here is climb down to the bottom right as fast as possible. I want to give it a short shout out to this game. Like, it doesn't seem like lag is too much of an issue. Like, they seem to have that down path. I'll give them that credit for that the game plays well.
Yeah, I haven't noticed the game lag once.
So now that you've caught the Water of Life, you go to King Pete to tell him the good news, and he basically betrays you, and he tries to fight you because you're trying to stop his reign as king, because the people think that he's doing a bad job. So there's only two things he will do. He will throw a bomb, or he will dash at you like that. This is the first time that the mechanic is mandatory in the game. You actually have to pick up an item while in the air, and it's already pretty finicky to pick up an item when it's on the floor, so I can imagine this is pretty difficult. He takes 12 hits to die, so the more bombs you miss, obviously takes longer.
Yeah, it seems like it's really hard to find that right pixel to get grab, especially in air. Because we saw earlier in the game that he even struggled with picking up a chest from the ground.
Yeah, you literally have to stand still and hold your button for a bit to pick it up. Otherwise, it will just register throwing a piece of soap. So that takes some adjusting, but I can imagine jumping in the air. That makes it complicated. Should be almost done here. I believe we hit him between about 8 or 9 times now. Just a couple hits. So time will come up after you kill him. Mickey will jump in the air and land on the ground. That will be time.
Almost looks like Pete's have a Santa Claus robe.
Yeah, I don't see too much snow in the background though, so I don't know if your theory is 100% correct. I'll go with the king's cloak. So in case we haven't mentioned it, Beatrim has the world record of this game at 15:26. But there's definitely room for improvement for this game, and time. There we go. The kingdom is saved, thanks to Mickey. GG Infinite Mystery.
Yeah,
I believe that's I think that's like a minute over his personal best, so that's not too bad. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think he said he had a 21 time. So that's really good, considering the estimate was 25 that he could keep it together.
Yeah. So we'll take a short break here and stick with us.